So we're just moving off this mooring at Newbold. Been here for 2 days and these are 2-day moorings. We've just moved out and then there's a boat moving out in front. So he's having to hug the side of the canal.
I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
2 days in Newbold, that was quite good. And Eileen's on the towpath. She likes for those.
So this line of boats that we've just gone past are Canal and River Trust waterside moorings. So they're basically permanent mooring spots.
Good morning, everybody,
Morning!
and welcome to our vlog. You join us on a...
Oh, it's a bit warmer today, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit warmer, but where's the sun gone?
There's no sunshine, no. And that mooring that we've just left in Newbold was okay, but we didn't get the sunshine for our solar until late afternoon, did we?
No.
So we ended up having to run the generator.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know, it just...
Because it was a nice sunny day yesterday, most of the day, wasn't it?
It was.
And we had to run the generator because the most we were getting in solar during the day was about 90 watts.
Yeah, I think it was a tree. We was kind of shaded by a tree a little bit.
Yeah.
And the sun was going the wrong way. It was kind of going that way, which
Yeah.
didn't work. So
to be honest, those are permanent CRT moorings.
the ones we've just come past, yeah.
I don't think I'd like one of those moorings. You wouldn't get any solar, would you?
No, you'd be...
Trees along the whole line of that section of the canal.
You'd be forever running your engine.
Yeah.
Which I think is what they do.
Yeah, because as I walked past, there were a few people running their engines. So anyway.
Where are we heading?
Today we are just on a really short cruise to Rugby.
Yep.
So.
And then we're going to Hillmorton, aren't we?
And then, we've got to stop in Rugby because we've got to pick up medication from Tesco's.
Yep.
And then we're going to be moving on to Hillmorton.
Hillmorton, yeah, which should be nice.
Yeah, so that'll be all in this video.
Got to pick the car up as well, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the towpath is on the way, I think. So far up to here, I think it's okay, but
yeah,
we'll have to see a bit further.
We walked this section yesterday.
Yeah.
We were just thinking about the towpath for riding back the car.
Yeah.
It's a bit narrow in places.
Yeah, but
so you might have to get off and walk a few bits in places, but should be able to manage that.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got to say my name's Pat.
I'm Eileen.
And we are
a Narrowboat Quest.
And we travel the inland waterways of the UK, looking for cake, as I've said once before, although I'm not allowed now because I'm on a diet. Okay, we're looking for artificial cake, or at least looking in windows to see whether there is any cake.
And admiring cake.
Yeah, and then dribbling. No, We travel the inland waterways looking for places of history and of nature.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy this channel, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe as everybody else should do. If you can't do it on your tellies, then try and find some other way. It would be really appreciated if you can. And we'll see you in the next video. Well, we see you in this one, but a bit later on. Okay, so bye for now.
So there's a winding hole here, and we believe one of the loops went through that direction. There's a factory there now, but that would have been a loop at one point,
And then that down.
and then would have come from there straight across, because obviously that section wouldn't have been there. The section behind us wouldn't have been there, but it would have come straight across and straight across to that winding hole. Well, the boats are moored in Rugby, stern to bow, the whole length right down to the next bridge. So we filled up with water, and then luckily, just as we were full, the boat behind us on the water point moved. So we've moved back into his spot, but it is only a one-day mooring, and we really needed a bit more than one day. But hopefully, if somebody else moves across the other side, we can move over. Or we'll just do what we need to do quickly here and move on down to Hillmorton. We'll have to see how it goes. But I'm sure we'll keep you updated. Where are we, honey?
Hillmorton.
Say again?
Hillmorton.
We are at the bottom of Hillmorton locks. We're just filling up with water. When we arrived, there were 3 boats already here, filling up with water. So we've had to wait, but that's okay. There's several boats have gone past since we've been sitting here, and we are now 6th in line for the locks. A lovely old thumper's just gone past. I'm afraid I wasn't actually ready with the camera, unfortunately, but you might just be able to hear it. So there's no hurry for us filling up with water. So we'll let you know when we're on our way. Of course, Hillmorton locks are the busiest locks in the country, apparently. That was lovely. We're sitting here, or standing here, filling up with water, and the boat's gone by, and they've said they're from Canada and they watch our YouTube channel. So how amazing is that? It's absolutely brilliant. So if you're watching this, I think it's Narrowboat Tear, I can't remember now. Hope you enjoy your cruise. Okay, so we're all topped up with water, and we'll see where we are in the queue when we get to the bottom. And that was good timing, a boat just leaving, and we can go straight into their lock. And the volunteers are on, and it's been very busy in the last hour, as we can testify. So there's volunteers on the first lock. They'll open the gate and probably wait for another boat to come down, as I've got one going each way, and I'm walking to the next lock. As he said, they've been really busy the last hour, and we can testify to that because there were 6 boats that went by while we were sitting on the water point. So busy old time for them. But then, as I said, they are the busiest locks in the country, and have been for many, many years. And there's the old thumper that went by while we were waiting at the water point. Doesn't it sound lovely? It's a lovely shiny engine inside too. And he's just going into the far side lock. There's someone in this one, and there's someone coming down, so we'll probably have to wait until they've come through.
Can we open this lock up for him, or?
Okay, so we're in the last lock. Hoping some more up after this. It's been really busy here, so I'm going to come back and do some filming. Yeah, there's only one paddle working here, so it's a bit of a slow fill. So this is where we've moored up. We're the other side of the bridge because, as in Rugby, it seems to be pretty busy here, and there's a whole line of boats from the top of the locks to the bridge. So we've had to come through the bridge and moored up here, but actually we prefer it here. I think it's a bit quieter, and you've got a bit of a view over there, and you've got a bit of a view across the canal there. The gates you see here are one of a pair of cast iron gates which all of the locks at Hillmorton were fitted with during the expansion in 1840. They were a little difficult to find as the surrounding area, as you can see, is now overgrown. These gates were supposed to be part of a display to mark the 250th anniversary of the death of James Brindley. He died on the September the 27th, 1772, and on that day his last canal, the North Oxford, had reached just below Hillmorton locks. On that day in September 2022, an information board was planned to be erected at this point. The board was produced and the mayor booked to unveil it. However, 2 weeks before the unveiling, the Canal and River Trust halted the plans due to a clerical error, and the project was never completed. The planned information board can be seen on screen now. We don't know if this will ever take place. There are no plans that we are aware of, but it's a shame that it didn't go ahead when planned. So Hillmorton locks were the busiest in the country, even when they were first built. And to get over the problem of being the busiest locks in the country and being a bottleneck here, they built another set of locks beside the original locks. And each set of locks had this paddle gear in between each set of locks, and this was used to save water, basically, so that they could use the water from one lock into the other lock. So they would have had a handle here. The paddles mechanisms would have been here, and they would have used the handle to raise the paddles, underground paddles, to transfer the water between one lock and the other. Lock number 2 is the only lock now that's got the original metal gates on. There is another set of metal gates behind the mound further down, for which we have filmed. But you can't actually see them when you're approaching the lock. It's all overgrown there now, so you can't actually see anything. This little patch of grass here, they're keeping like this because there's wild orchids growing in the patch of grass. So there's a little sign saying please keep off the grass so that you don't damage the wild orchids. I think this must be 4 and 5, mustn't it? Because that's 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing here between locks 4 and 5. Got the same paddle gear transferring the water, so when one boat goes up and the other side is going down, they can transfer the water between the two. So the words carved out on the lock beams here were part of a poetry project to mark the transfer of responsibility for the canal network in England and Wales from British Waterways to the Canal and River Trust, and that was done in 2012. These lines are a part of a poem by Midlands poet and jazz pianist Roy Fisher. The lock lines on the poem are numbered as 4 and 5, and the first 2 are numbered as 2 and 3. So we were just wondering where lock 1 was. We think it might have been, maybe it was on the old arm. I don't know. If you know, then perhaps you could let us know and tell us in the comments below. As you can see, there's paddle gear between these two as well. Of course, none of this paddle gear is working anymore. It's all, none of it's functional. So now you can go up either way on each side of the locks. Whereas in the old days, I think they had one side was up and one side was down, simply because then they could transfer the water.